Welcome to Home Money Vibe. I am absolutely thrilled today, as part of the investor series, to have beautiful Elyse Alexander with me today. Welcome, Elise.
Hello, Miss Kerry. So happy to be here. Like, that is the energy vibe of what it's like to be with a woman that you're on the same level of. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a beautiful thing.
Oh, look, Elise and I have met through our investing journey. And I must say that it's really interesting when you meet someone else who has that real spiritual groundedness, that awareness for, mindsets, and also wants to give back in a bigger way as far as, empowering women in wealth. So, yeah, I've asked Elise to join us today and really sort of share some of her thoughts around investing, share some of her insights with you all. And really, as we look back on a short investing history together, some of the things that have come up for us and what we've realized were completely false beliefs. A lot of things that have been fed to us from the media or from friends or, probably old style investing that we are completely realizing are false for ourselves, and we are remaking the whole experience of investing for women. So, Elise, I'd love you to share with everyone really a bit about your story. Share a bit about what you've been doing to this point, and also what inspired you to start looking at investing.
Oh, absolutely, Carrie. And I just want to start with some gratitude that I'm so grateful to be in a space and to be held in a way that I know that I'm able to be vulnerable, that I know that I'm able to be authentic in my story, and to know that you will resonate with what you're meant to. And that's okay. We're all in different places on the journey. We're all in different opportunities of our lives. So, something for me that will start my story out with is that I always knew, even as like a little kid, that I was meant for more. But I didn't really know what that meant. I couldn't really explain or like tell people or give them an opportunity to understand because I didn't understand. And I think as a little kid, when you are not taught to like care for yourself, you start to kind of care for others in a way that is maybe not the healthiest, but you don't know any better. And that's the thing, is that I grew up in a very male dominated environment where it was very focused around money, where it was very focused around like, what are you gonna do? And not like to create impact in the world or to do something like vibrant, but to support yourself. And that never like felt good to me. It felt icky. I knew the power of money because I saw what it was capable of, but I never wanted to have it. Like, I kept telling myself things like, you're never going to make as much money as your dad, or when you make money, you're going to become that ugly person. Carrie told me to point out the lies that we tell ourselves. So I'm real,
Yes,
you guys.
exactly.
That's a real lie. You have to point it out, you have to acknowledge it, and then you have to give yourself some grace. So being surrounded by that environment in my life, I continued on this track. I did the 9 to 5. I had like that spiritual part of me, but it kind of felt like it was dying because I wasn't feeding it. I wasn't knowing myself. I wasn't continuing to be hungry to get to know where I was at. But I always had that little seed inside me. My mother was slightly spiritual, but I couldn't step over. And I would say that you get to a point in your life where you've overcome some things. I am a trauma survivor. I am someone who has experienced codependency. I am someone who has also overcome perfectionism and a lot of other things that really get in the way, like I was telling you, that force us not to take any action, not to do anything. And that's where I was at. I was like, okay, I'm going to force this. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to work 4 9 to 5s. Like, I'm going to do anything it takes to figure it out.
Do the hustle, do that. Yeah, I guess we're taught to strive for money in a very masculine way, right? And that our self-worth is attached to money. And that is something I've had to really, when you start doing the work internal, you start realizing that you already are worthy, and that your wealth is determining based on your vibration, what you believe about yourself, because you're only going to be seeing opportunities like investing opportunities if you're in a space that you're like ready to say, I deserve more, I want more. And I did this last November on my vision board. I visualized having more opportunities, growth, and then investing appeared. And it might have been the same for you, Elise. You were at the point where you were like, I'm done with the 9 to 5. I'm done with the hustle. If there's got to be an easier way. And I think for me, like, yes, one thing is going from the 9 to 5 and having your own business. And another thing is completely remaking your concept of how to make money, right? So it's very easy to replace a job with a business, right? When you're like starting out. As you know, I've learned from 6 years in moving from being a chartered accountant to being a business coach that I just created a job to start with. And now I've learned how to create more of a recurring income stream. And so for me, investing was that next level. It was like, I want money to earn itself. I want money to work for itself. I no longer want to work for money. Tell me a bit about if that resonates with you and what your thoughts are on that.
Gosh, like literally woman after my own soul, you guys, because I saw what people were willing to do to get money, to get the big money, because that's what we all really wanted, was the big money, if we're being honest with ourselves. And when you don't feel worthy, like Kerry was saying, the wealth journey is actually just your worth journey. Yes, we teach you how to figure out how to make money, how to look after yourself, how to create that flow of income where it's work smarter, not harder. But none of that matters if you do not feel the deep sense of worth, the deep sense of love that you have for yourself and for what you are capable of. So I will say that that speaks to me hugely, because I saw my family make millions of dollars in their lifetime. And you know how everyone always says, Kerry, like, oh, I'll enjoy it later. I'll enjoy it later. We'll have more time. And in my grandparents' early 50s, they both got diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's and dementia. And I instantaneously saw them lose who they were, saw them forget their first name, saw them not be able to create their own faculties of life. And it just struck me like, okay, how long are you going to wait?
Yes.
How long are you going to sit here and say that you have an answer and that you're not going to help anyone, or that you're not going to choose to do differently? And that is really when investing in other things like popped into my lap, because I do believe that when we are specific with the universe, that it comes back to you. And I always wanted something to feel aligned, in the fact that if I was going to invest, I wanted other women around me who also felt the same alignment. I wanted people to continue to up level, to create a different vibration in the impact of the planet for women, because that's what money is. It's freedom.
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so beautiful. Like, we all think we've got so many years to put off, but honestly, I think the more trauma you go through, or the more realization or heartbreak or, you know, crisis in your life, you really start grounding into, oh my gosh, you know, we have to just take on opportunities, lean forward and live. And, you know, for a lot of people, they live, like I've seen in my family, they live very much in that scarcity mindset of, I don't want to take risks because what if? I don't want to reach because what's the point? I'm going to lose it anyway. And this whole negative mindset around, why bother trying? Because the fear of failure is so big that they just can't get themselves moving. And I'm very different from a lot of my family. I am the, risk taker. I'm the one who's trying new things, remaking my life so that I can today go and take my boys out to the park. It's school holidays. I get to say what I do. And this is when I start feeling that gratitude for all the hard work I've done to build this. And so let's dive into the investing now. That somehow investing has come to you because you have some sort of awareness that has brought it into your life. So both Elise and I are going to share with you our experience to date on what we have learned investing, what we have tried, what little gold nuggets we can give you to just really encourage you to take that first step. Because honestly, I am just seeing so much more potential now than even when I started. Let me just say that when I started 4 months ago, I had the intention of putting money into, investing and let it grow itself. And I was not going to get involved, right? I've totally fallen in love with the whole experience of investing that I have now switched into learning to manually trade. Like, this is not something I thought I would be doing, but it's so much fun. And I can tell you the community we're in, the live calls, like on my other computer, there's a live trading call happening right now. And it's really fun to, you're laughing, it's true. So I'm not trading at the moment, but I'm like fully in it. Like, I get up at 11 o'clock at night to be on these live trading calls. I've completely changed my calendar so that I can be on 3 live calls a week. And I cannot express to you, okay, so what happened to me the other night was I jumped on a trade following, the experts, and I started seeing the profit, and I was like, I'm going to go in again. And the money was growing, and I was just like, it was 11 o'clock at night, so I had to be very quiet. My kid's sleeping in the other room. But I was just like filled with excitement going, oh my gosh, this is what it looks like to see money just like fall into your account. And yes, we do have, let me just say, there are compliance and risk management that we follow that, I'm not saying that everyone who invests profits. You really have to think about the risk management of this. So I'm very careful with following my rules and also making sure that I, don't get caught up in the profits, but I'm just sharing with you how I felt like I was a kid in a candy store. I was just finding like, oh my gosh, this is what the banks do. This is what big organizations do to earn money. And it is not complicated and a lot of fun. So over to you, Elise. That was my little insight into Kerry's life. The excitement of taking on manual trading when I actually didn't have that in my realm to start with.
Okay. First of all, I fall deeper in love with you the more and more that we talk, because you guys, it is always amazing to see yourself on your own journey, but there is nothing like stepping into something and having someone else beside you saying, hey, I want it too. Hey, yes, this is us together. And you know what? It's so funny because I want to share this, that I didn't even know that Kerry was interested in jumping into live trade calls until this girl every 3 days was on the call. Okay. It was a very we're going to get in, we're going to do this, and we're dedicated. And I have such respect for that, because that's what investing is about. It's investing that time in yourself. It's investing that research in what you choose to do with your alignment of your platform, because it does need to feel good to you. The way that you're investing, the way that you're understanding information, the way that you're educating yourself, the way the community supports. These are all things, you guys, that we needed to figure out, and that were more difficult, I think, than actually learning the skills to invest. And I don't know if you would agree with me, Kerry,
absolutely.
But
at least I have been in other communities and building businesses for me, this is a long-term strategy. So I really wanted to make sure that I come from the purpose and mission of helping women grow their wealth, right? So I really was looking for a woman, female-led community that showed me that women are doing this too. I wanted to follow, and then I wanted to step in and start leading. So that was my intention. It's like, show me the woman doing this, because that's all I'm interested in. I've had some conversations with neighbors and men investors, and completely got shut down or locked out, or completely felt like I shouldn't be asking these questions because I didn't have $1 million in the bank. So I quickly shut down, created the bubble around me, around all that negative vibration, and just went all in. When I saw this community, I started connecting with the woman, and I just felt like home, right? And I was like, I am all in. I've got the community, I've got the method, I've got software that's legitimate and that does what I want to do. I want the option of automated trading, manual trading, and I want to see where I go. I don't want to cap. I don't want to sort of pigeonhole myself in one thing. Yeah. And the other thing I want to say too is I get put off by a lot of upfront profit talk, a lot of, that real selling to get your money, make you rich quick, because I know that's not the way. I'm in it to learn the skill, because the skill set will help me earn the millions. I'm not interested in handing my money over to someone else and letting them trade for me. I want to learn myself, because I want to teach my son. I want to know exactly like what I do in my business, know how it works. So maybe later I can outsource it to the software, right? I'm not interested at the very moment in crypto, because I just want to start on the foundation. I want to start on something that I know is solid. And for me, Forex and the currency exchange, for me as a chartered accountant, is pretty solid, right? I don't have to worry about company stocks. I don't have to worry about complicated transactions. And crypto for me is something I might look at later when I diversify. It's certainly not my first toe in the water. It is something for me on a pyramid. It's at the top of risk versus reward, and I'm building the foundation first, right? So really think about what you want to invest and how it fits in with your pyramid. And yeah, honestly, you're going to need to build a foundation first, as with anything. So Elise, yeah, you mentioned the education. Maybe share a bit more about the education side of it that's really sort of inspired you and helped you along.
Absolutely. And to answer your earlier question, Kerry, I know that we're now on similar platforms in terms of how we are investing. So yes. For those of you who don't know, I did also step into manually trading. And it's awesome because Kerry and I are very similar, but we're also trading in a little bit different ways. We also have a little bit different risk management plans. So that education piece part of it is so important, because you guys, there have been so many people, including myself, who have found, yes, I'm going to do manual trading. Yes, I'm going to have an automated system. Yes, I'm going to figure out how to continually compound my money, which is what I'm doing. I have an automated system. I'm getting into manual trading. I'm doing New York session 3 days a week, getting into London session soon. But there's a certain moment that people kind of throw settings in or think that they're doing something right, and you can't check it against something. And at that point, you are gambling. And that is why the education piece is so important.
Yeah.
Because what if you have the opportunity to talk to someone who already has been doing what they have been doing for years? And being able to ask an expert, hey, what would you normally do in this situation? Or having even just a guide of what
So
you should be
priceless.
doing. And that's what the educators are for. They educate on live trade calls, they give information in the chats, they make sure that they have one call a week that they're supporting just general question and answers, because we're here to like invest in the full transformation about how to do these things. When I first started, I didn't even know what a PIP was. I had no idea how to even get into my account. So you guys,
Yeah.
like, it can happen from anywhere. We all start at the bottom.
Yeah. Gosh, the things I've learned, right? So
Oh.
firstly, like, how do you get started? For me was like, all right, well, what do I do? Okay, so I've got some money aside. What do I do? So I set up my trading account. All right, so I find a broker, set up my trading account. Then I set up my phone and download the software for my phone. Then I download and set up my software on my computer and then link it all together. And once that's all happened, then it's just like plug and go, right? We do set up our software and have, trading sessions that training sessions that teach you what to do. But after that, it's really like you're saying, tweaking, tuning, working out, how your trades are going, building your training plan, and then just showing up and learning. Like, I'm just all in the learning mode at the moment. I also believe that I've done some study, but the real learning's happening in the doing, in the actual taking the trades and going like, oh my gosh, this is a point. I entered, exited, screenshot that. The next morning, I'll jump back on and I'll look at, okay, I got out here. What happened if I stayed on an extra 2 hours? What happened to the market? And I kind of try and have a look at what happened versus what I thought would have happened. Because I generally will finish and I'll be like, okay, I'm expecting this to do this, but I'm so tired now. I need to go to bed. And the next day, I'm like doing the historical look back to see what happened. And often I'm like, oh my God, if I just stayed on for another 2 hours, like it's really good. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And I think it's taking up a lot more space in my life than I originally thought, because there's actually a lot more to it than I expected. And yeah, it's really, really exciting. And so both Elise and I are really looking to help women become more comfortable looking at trading, talking about trading, getting in and trying it for yourselves. And both of us started on a demo account. So we actually didn't have to invest our own money. We, plugged into the software. We spent a month or so trialing with fake money. I still have my demo account. So when I'm like deciding to try something new, I'll switch it from my account to the demo and I'll take a trade just to test it out. So you can absolutely do this. You start off with the demo, create a smallish account, play with that, get more confidence, pick one currency that you want to really focus on. So for me at the moment, I'm just like broadening out the experience. And then later I'm going to laser in and decide what's my favorite and which way I want to trade.
And Kerry, do you want to talk to everybody about why it is that the minimum investment for manual trading is so much lower because of the fact that it's new?
Yeah. So like for me, I only just started off with a small account. I don't have a lot of cash just sitting around. Like, I've got a business, I'm investing, I'm growing. I invested a small amount in my trading account. And yet the thing is, when you're doing manual trading, you can decide how much you're investing each time, right? So you can look at like a currency pair and change whatever a lot size you want to put in, and we're all kind of playing around with this. The less you have, obviously, the lower leverage and the lower profits or losses you get. But, we all start off with an idea of how much we want to earn a day. So say, for example, if you invest $500, you know, you really don't want to risk more than I think it's 1% of your account.
1 to 2.
1 to 2% of your account. So, you know, the bigger account you have, say if you've got $1,000, then you can risk 1 to 2% of that. So you have more leverage, more ability to actually, when you take a trade, earn bigger profits because the ratio is higher. So there's nothing stopping you learning with small cash and just, you know, learning the skill set and growing your account from a small account, which is my intention. Small account, letting that compound over time with the profits. And then as that gets bigger and bigger, you can make different trades. You can get a bit riskier, invest in, you know, when you're seeing a good setup, you can go all in. Some people, you know, jump in multiple times or have bigger lot sizes, but really up to you. It's all about following your risk plan. And yeah, I can't say that I think this is going to be a lifelong journey for me. It's going to end up being multiple accounts, using different software. I've got the ability to use any software I want. So with our provider, we can switch software every week. I'm actually switching at the end of this week to red light, green light, because it's a new software. And I am trialing all the different software. I've used Gearbox. I am on Aero at the moment. I'm switching to red light, green light. I really want to sort of get experience of all of these. And then you can absolutely also multiply them by having them on top of each other. So Aero tells you, Aero gives you a lot of indicators, and red light, green light's a very basic one that shows you to buy or sell. And it's also got little B's and S's that pop up on your chart. So having multiple indicators, you've got an up arrow and you've got, you know, a buy, and, you know, everything is looking good, then you get more confidence in the trade being based on the software algorithms, a good trade, like it's been checking the trade for you, and then you can take the trade. So yeah, for me, you don't need to be an expert. I think using good software helps you, and then plugging into the live sessions for me is gold. Having that access to the experts is the way. For sure.
100%. And what Kerry is sharing about, you guys, it's called Confluence. The traders, the professional traders, they call it Confluence, to be able to have several different resources that support and back up your indicator of your trade, because it's so easy for one thing to be like saying this way, but it takes the education of the trader to read the indicators as well, because 99% of the time it'll probably go that way. But that is why we always are accepting that everyone is going to have a loss. Not saying it's going to be big, not saying it's going to be everything, but that everybody wins and everybody loses. It's just about the ratio, right? And it's our risk management plan, like you were sharing.
You know, I've learned a lot about how banks trade and how the investment companies trade, and they're the market makers.
My phone is like, trade opportunity.
So really, we are learning not to be a retail investor, because retail investors tend to jump in as soon as it goes up and sell as soon as it goes down, and they get scalped out of the market by these market leaders who are out there to catch you out, right? And to do fake trades. So I'm learning a lot about the psychology of trading, which is really interesting, of knowing how to read it and seeing where to put your take profit and stop loss, and how, when you need to get out of a trade, and also perhaps reading the past history and seeing the story of what may happen next, which comes back to my accounting background. I always use numbers to tell a story. Now in trading, you use the pips and the graphs to tell a story and try and forecast what might be happening in the future, with the help of the software that also does a lot of the work for you. So yeah, market psychology, investing psychology, knowing that there are bigger people, bigger fish out there that actually do profit, and they often will, you know, play funny games in the markets to obviously get more liquidity. So yeah, it's really interesting. It is not something that requires a lot of numbers, I must say. It doesn't require.
I'm bad at math.
Yeah. Yes. It is something that I think if you are a very visual person, you would love, because you can actually see everything happening in front of you. And if you are someone who enjoys like making a story or really sort of seeing the historical side of it, there's a lot to it as well. So it's definitely a skill set to build for life. And yeah, Elise, do you want to leave our beautiful listeners with your last, you know, golden nugget for them?
Absolutely. Oh, Kerry, thank you so much, by the way, for just sharing your open heart and your open vulnerability, because this is hard, you guys. This is not for like the faint of heart. This is something that you dedicate to, that you give yourself to. And it is easier with the indicators, it is easier with the community, but it is something that we truly wanted because of the vision that we have for our lives, because of what we want to create together, because we believe that money equals impact. And I want to leave you with a couple things that Kerry had mentioned to me, the lies that we kind of share with ourselves and the things that we've learned. One of the biggest lies that I told myself was that I would never be able to learn how to invest successfully and sustainably, because I had never seen it done before. I had never seen a woman in my life experience her spirituality, experience her personal growth, experience her business, and experience her trading and investing opportunity at the same time. So to step into that, right? Like, and that idea of that was huge, because me wanting to be an angel investor for other women all came about in the idea that I realized that because I had been such a people pleaser in my life, that I was always going to put other people before myself. So if I was going to do that, then why couldn't I create a bigger impact? But another lie that I told myself was that it could happen for other people, but it couldn't happen for me, that I wasn't capable of doing it. And let me share with you, for whoever needs to hear this, you are capable of whatever you believe you can do. You are capable of whatever a man can do. You are capable of investing whatever it is you feel like, and you are capable of making a mistake and learning from it. You do not have to do what you originally were told. There is a different way. And it is just about holding that integrity, holding that, knowing that there's more out there, and that you have this vision for a reason. Not everybody's meant to see it. And another lie that I told myself was that if someone else didn't see the vision, then it must have meant it's not real. They're not meant to see it. They're not.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the biggest realizations I had in my life too, was that it's okay for me to choose my path, and I don't have to bring my friends or family along the ride. It is some I have struggled with this for a long time, of really trying to lead the family and, you know, be the one that brings them along the path, and that I see something new for everyone. But at some point, you really have to realize that everyone's on their own journey in this life, and they choose their own path. And I would rather be amongst people like you, Elise, and other women who are like seeing it for themselves, and we're feeling the lightness of it and feeling the fun and the expansiveness of it, than always reaching behind and trying to drag someone and prove to them what I'm doing is, you know, the way. So just know that you make the decision for you based on where you sit in your life, what fits for you, and you absolutely can make that decision for yourself. Take it on for yourself. Know that you're in your own journey, and your soul and your spirit is ready to try. And I think the best experiences we can have in this life are when we've done something that we never thought was possible, right? And years later, we look back and we're like, I cannot believe I did that. That's incredible. So just know, we hope that this breathes some belief into you, that you can absolutely say yes to yourself. You can absolutely learn to trade. You can absolutely just turn on automated software and let it trade for you. You have full choice of how you want to do this, what your journey looks like. And when you're ready to evolve or change, we've got you, right? And it's all about community. It's all about empowerment. So I want to leave you with that. I want to leave you with, if you are listening to this and you're inspired, please reach out to either Elise or I to hear a bit more about how we can help you. And secondly, we have an amazing community of women traders that we are nurturing. So if you want to be part of that community, there'll be the link below that we'd love to share with you and have you in our community. So both Elise and I do weekly events where we share how to build wealth on autopilot, and we'll show you the steps of what to do, how to take that first step. So yeah, I hope you've learned some new insights and gold nuggets, and maybe even just change some of your thoughts around trading. And we wish you all the best, and we look forward to sharing some more with you very soon.
Absolutely.